within my community who didn't have that opportunity of studying accounting, but also because I'm part of the community there, I'm able to share what I know so that they can build their businesses as well.
Quite powerful. And I think, Nyani, the essence of being alive is about building something that can outlive you. Into ezawuphinda ishiyeke, when you're not there, and also into ezawukwazi ubhenefithisa nabanye abantu. I think what I've noticed as I'm growing up is that eyona fulfillment that you get more than imali imandi, and we need it, and yes, haha. But there's nothing that is as fulfilling I've experienced as seeing whatever that you're doing impacting the next person, helping the next person, transforming the next person. Like, you cannot even quantify that in monetary terms.
Imnandi ukufa, and uyayazi ke from coming from Eastern Cape uzotshiwo ukuthi uyabona umntu akabani wahamba wofunda la accounting. And most of people in our communities, they are entrepreneurs at heart, but they don't want to have the details of everything like in accounting and other things. So when you are there to help so that they can stand up, it fulfills your heart, and you like because they're also gonna leave legacy for their kids.
And it continues like that. Beautiful. Now let's talk about your business, Kengoku. Tell us a bit about it. And I know about when we were having our conversation, you also mentioned agriculture, and then so I don't know. Let's start with the accounting one, but you can also touch on the other one as well. I want you talking about Lena accounting to also touch on zeziphi services that you guys offer.
Okay, the services that we offer on the accounting space is bookkeeping. So we assist the entrepreneurs, the small business, to be able to do their bookkeeping, basically to take the stresses away. They when they have to submit their tenders or submit documents, and someone says, I need income statement, I need balance sheet, I need annual financial statements, they don't know where to start. So we are there to give a solution to the entrepreneurs, make sure that they don't have to worry about that bookkeeping and accounting side of their business. So we offer that service, and we offer the service of submitting the tax returns and carry on the communication with SARS on their behalf, because SARS and tax can be very complicated. So it's better when you have someone in next to you talking on behalf of your business with SARS matters. And we also assist the entrepreneurs with the CIPC submissions and being compliant. So basically the whole compliance regime of the CIPC and the SARS, entrepreneurs in SARS. So we are here to say, concentrate on your business, let us do the other things, And we also started doing trainings for SMMEs where we teach or guide them on how to use the actual financial statements to better their businesses, because some of them, they don't even know what they mean. What is this financial statement? What is the income statement? What is the balance sheet? How can I use it to understand my business?
Okay, that is quite clear in terms of the support that you then provide in the other business.
The other business actually started it during COVID. During COVID, you would know that there were a lot of retrenchment. SMMEs were not doing well. The economy was just so bad. And when I looked into the market, I was like, you know what, the economy is so bad, but we're still buying chickens and we're still buying eggs, Even if you don't have money to buy chicken, but you'll buy eggs so that you can get that protein. So the idea started there. My husband did start farming, but I was not really supportive or I was not
you were not into it.
I was not into it until COVID started. And then I was like, okay, I think this is something that I can look into. So I started looking into how can I bring the eggs. Then I realized, okay, I don't have space. Then I started hatching. So my husband bought a machine for me. I was buying and currying fertile eggs. So I would incubate and hatch the eggs until they're chickens, small chickens. So I was supplying the whole Eastern Cape at that time with small chicks for different breeds. Then I started teaching myself and learning more about the chickens. And moving from there, I realized, you know what, I can move up from selling the 1-day-old chicks. Then I was breeding the chickens and slaughtering them, now selling the full chickens. So I was doing the
Wow.
whole value chain. So now I am really passionate about farming. I can call myself as a farmer. Yes.
That's wonderful. And I think you know, in business, it's always interesting to see abantu understanding the concept of being agile and flexible, you know, and tapping into other spaces. Because when you look at accounting and farming, you would
Yes.
say that is the good spectrums is like on two different ends. And
Different.
it's different things. But I think it's so beautiful to watch is or listen to a story where you are on the other side, but you are willing to go to the other side and also make it a success, you know. And I think if you are like that, you know, you have the spirit of entrepreneurship, which is resilience and being able to work with whatever is placed
Yes.
in front of you and being able to identify opportunities as well, because I mean identifying a gap in the market and satisfying it, that's what true entrepreneurship is all about. Now
Spot
with your
on.
experience in different spaces, okay, both the accounting and the field of, you know, farming, specifically poultry, ungathi zeziphi biggest challenges that you faced, and how did you deal with them? You can choose one, you can choose a couple, it's up to you.
Okay. The biggest challenges that I've come across is in both business, is the customers or the market in whatever industry, they will be hesitant to support a small business because they're so
Okay.
used to the bigger businesses. So it gets so difficult to break
Crack
those
the market.
barriers, yeah, to crack the market. And when you eventually do crack the market, the customers expect you to limit your prices as well.
Discounts.
Because you're not known, you know, who are you? You are new, even though you are also going to go through all the steps the other big companies are going through as well in terms of costing. So you find that you are hardly making money, and you're really trying your best, and the market really, they do get hesitant in accounting as well as in the farming space as well. If you're selling eggs, they don't know how did you do your eggs. Some will ask all sort of questions. What were you feeding them? And what, you know, they just want to be sure. It's just so difficult. Whereas if they go to bigger shops, they just go there
And
and take
buy.
the eggs from the shelf. They don't ask what those chickens were fed, you know, or such things. And yeah, so it's the hesitation from the customer to trust you as a supplier, and the expectation of that your price should be low, even though the quality is good.
It's the same, yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's a very powerful point that you're bringing on through the, and I think it's something that a lot of small businesses struggle with, and I guess it's being a new entrant into the market. Once you're a new entrant into the market, I guess those are really things that you would then face until they have gained your trust, which takes time, and then over time they'll be like, no, this is a good product, this is a good service, and then, you know, the hesitation really reduces. But it's true that, you know, that does happen. And when things like that happen and they demotivate you, or, you know, they have a knock-on effect on you, how do you stay motivated during those times? Like, how do you pick yourself up? How do you keep going? Why don't you just decide, hi, yayeka yonke le nto mna, I'll just leave it, I'll just leave it in Zima. How wenza njani to uqhubekeke uhamba?
It's that resilience that you previously touched on. You have to be resilient. You have to be able to bounce back. I bounce back. You know, when you're so passionate about something, no matter how many times you fail, you're gonna wake up and say, okay, this is what happened, and learn from your failures. Okay, I think ndingaphuma kanje ngoku. Ukuve kwakuthiwa ikati ine-lives eziyi-9. Yes, kuthethwa
Yeah.
nge-entrepreneur ke.
Yeah.
Izawuphinda ivuke and reinvent itself. So kokwakuba resilient and making sure, now what I do is, as much as it's difficult to get customers and clients and market, once I manage to get one client or customer, I make sure I go beyond. I don't just provide a service, provide a service that will also bring value to the customer. For example, in the accounting space, if you issue financial statements for an SMME, they don't know what they can use it for. Go an extra mile and say, this is the income statement. This is how you can improve your income statement. You need to start using your bank account for only businesses so that this and this can happen. You need to start building your balance sheet, because these are the things when you're applying for funding, the banks will look into your financials. So go give the customer an extra value. I don't just issue and service. So I make sure, because unfortunately, when you're a small business, you rely on the word of mouth from the other customers to tell the others that, okay, you know what, I've got my accounting and they do this, And same thing within the farming space as well. If I supply my customers with chickens, I make sure that they're in a good conditions, the eggs are big, are in a good condition as well, showing the customers that you care. I do go an extra mile. That's what I do. So for me, it's the resilience. It's the resilience when I fail to wake up and being able to adapt, because we can't change the fact that, the economy changes, technology changes as well. We can't do everything manually. There's AI, so you need to be in that space, whether you like it or not, so that you can also be able to work effectively, be involved, learn the new things that are coming within the market. So that's what keeps me going. And most importantly, what makes me not stop assisting or being there for entrepreneurs is seeing that, there are entrepreneurs that are being successful. There are entrepreneurs that takes bookkeeping and compliance seriously and are successful. Then that means if we can amplify such conversation in such a way that entrepreneurs are aware that, okay, there's CIPC that I need to comply with, there's SARS that I need, and I don't need to do it alone, then that means we're going to have more. We're going to have more entrepreneurs, and with that can help a lot in our economy. That gives me those success stories of the entrepreneurs. They do give me a get going.
Continue. Yeah. You touched on something that is very important earlier as you were answering this question, the notion of understanding then those financial statements and understanding how an entrepreneur can then be able to use those documents in the future to help them. And you touched on using your business accounts and money only for business. Now, that's a very interesting space for me, and allow me to just, I know I'll be asking it like Digbuza unga preparanga from the top of your head.
That's okay.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you've seen entrepreneurs as zenzayo to mess up with bank accounts as in terms of the separation and the inability to separate the individual who is and the business who is Nande on the one side? How do you what have you seen in the space? And ungasixhobisa njani as entrepreneurs simamele ngokuba zeziphi izinto ezizezona zirongo that end up affecting our profiles, our financial statements, our bank accounts?
Okay. All right. The use of bank bank card or bank's account, business for a personal use, ayikho right nje tu. Apho sizobona into ezininzi nje, sobona into ezininzi as personal, or your liquor, your Ubers, your all those descriptions ezizezakho personal pha within school fees zakho zibhaliwe pha ku-bank statements as i-description. Ii-groceries zakho sibona uCheckers evela pha okokoko caba is the high expenditure ye-business uCheckers. Uyayiva? So azikho right. Zenziwa into yokuba most entrepreneurs, they don't separate themselves between abathi ndinguLindelwa, then there's Xhumane Nandi. You need to separate yourself from a business. uXhumane Nandi is a separate entity. uLindelwa is a separate entity. So now when akuthiwa sukwenza is don't incur expenses for your personal ngemali uyisebenzisa kwi-business, but pay yourself.
Okay.
You need to be able to pay yourself. That we don't do. Sithatha as if thina ngosizodonata ngezikills, Mlindelo uzodonata ngezikills zakhe apha kuXhumani Nande for free. Yebo, akabhatalwa. Ayikho ukuba ngazi omnye umuntu athi hayi since ungazibhatali ke Lindelwe apha kaXhumani Nande, ungaza mani xa unexesha uzosebenza nalapha kum namani ndizokubhatala. Awuzuyivuma loo nto leyo because
Yeah.
it's not real. Akakho umuntu onosebenza endaweni engafumani salary. So you need to understand the fact that nokuba kwenzeka ntoni from your business, you need to be able as an entrepreneur to pay yourself. So you
Sure.
pay yourself a monthly salary to your personal account. Then that is where you're gonna have ke ngoku your
Of
school
school
fees, your shakers, you say, then you are able ke ngoku to understand and to review and analyze i-bank account yakho ye-business with only transactions that actually relate to the business. And in fact, it will, when you pay yourself from a business, it will also be able to show you if you are, am I able to pay myself 5,000 from on a monthly basis from my business? Because it's when you do pay yourself on a monthly basis, it's gonna push you that I need to be able to make sales of
Sure.
this amount because I need to pay myself, I need to pay rent, I need to pay data, I need to pay my employees. You're putting it down, and yourself, you are also there as part of the salaries. So depending how much income are you making, it will also determine how much salary you're going to make. And if you're saying, okay, but the salary is not enough, then that means you have to push yourself to get more clients. You have to push yourself to get more products so that you are able to pay yourself. It is the same thing when you say, oh, I want to spend most of my time at the gym and do things for my kids. And, I don't want to spend time in the business. Then that means you need to employ someone
Employ
else in
more
the
people.
business,
Yeah.
you see.
Yeah.
So now you need to be able to check in your income and the expenses if your business is allowing you to get someone extra. If not, work towards getting more clients, getting more income so that I can be able to cover that expense that I want.
So now there's a notion that if you then pay yourself, then you will be taxed higher when you take that money and now put it in your personal account, right? Depending how much it is, obviously there are tax brackets and categories, right? But it's almost as if, there's the notion amongst entrepreneurs that if I spend it within the business, then I'm taxed less. But if I now transfer the money, it's going to be taxed at a personal income tax level. Yeah,
Yes.
the individual tax. So what would you say to that? Is it true? Is it not true? Or it depends?
It is true to some extent because the tax bracket for individuals are higher than the
Higher.
business,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So even though the salary expense that you're going to get from the business is going to form part of the expenses in your income statement, so therefore you'll be taxed on a lesser profit because that salary was an expense. Still, when you're a personal, in your personal space, you are going to get taxed. Now, what you need there is to structure your expenses in such a way that the other personal expenses, for example, that you incur, you will find that when you're an entrepreneur, some of the expenses, there's a very thin line between being used for business and being used for personal
use. Yeah.
For example, you'll find that most SMMEs are using their offices, are using their homes as their offices. You see, so some of, let's say, the expenses of your bond can come out from your business, like your electricity,
Portion.
like your
Yeah.
the portion. So try to see if there are any expenses at all from your personal capacity that are overlapping to a business that you can bring into the business as an expenses. But then again, when you bring them in, bring them as a proper explanation,
The right way.
Description in the what's this
The
thing
bank
in
statement.
the bank statement, instead of having like a lot of ATM withdrawals, cash send with no descriptions. you know, put a name into something. Was it a staff welfare? Was it an entertainment for your staff? Was it a client meeting? You know, you're
Meeting,
having a
yeah.
meeting. So try to associate some of your expenditure with the normal
Business
things that
expenses.
normal business descriptions that you can use, you know. So you are able to do that as well, because you can change your money that you spend on your groceries, for example, and spread it into client entertainment, and you know, but you need to have correct description as well. And
Yeah.
you know, when you have an accountant and a right accountant, when you analyze your financial statement, you'll be able to see clearly
What the
in your
problems
financial
are.
statement that, oh, actually, I'm spending more on the client entertaining, you know, so I need to.
Reduce
So
that.
it helps you to be able to analyze and to use the right channels for your spending in your business. Yeah.
And tell me something, last one. You know, I always get fascinated with taxes and
Mhm.
conversations around them, because I think the more I have different conversations around the tax and accounting space, the more information I gather, you know. And I think when we're having it as a conversation, it's much more simpler for the, you know, average entrepreneur listening in today to understand it better and to be like, oh, okay, I've noted that. I've noted that. So and last one, just out of my curiosity,
Yeah.
when it comes to the records that you keep, because there's one we can call submissions to SARS in terms of your annual return one thing, but then there are times where you get selected for, do they call it an audit? And then you have to produce evidences of what you have submitted.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you then to say, how do you advise would you advise entrepreneurs to keep those records? I mean, SARS could leave you for 5 years, you know, and not say anything. 5 years later, they're like, you know what? Would like to see your things for the past 5 years. I don't know, in the context of the law, how far back they can go, but I know they've got a lot of leeway, you know, they can just demand those things. So as an entrepreneur, how do I keep those records? Because like,
Mm.
what's the easiest way to keep that information?
Okay. First thing first, let me just touch on the fact that I know entrepreneurs always say, I don't want to open up a business because, you know, SARS is going to take up all my money. That is not true.
It's not.
SARS is there to support entrepreneurs. In fact, when you open up a business, the normal tax rate for normal company is 28%. Do you
Yes.
know that SARS is so supportive in such a way that they say, when you are a small business, I will only start taxing you when you are making a profit of, I think it's about 75,000, if I'm not mistaken.
The
And
first
even
part, yeah.
then, I'm going to start taxing you at 7%. The more your business grow, then I will increase to
It's like,
15%, you know,
yeah.
at a slow rate. That's very supportive, you know, and they don't need much from you. They're it's a very supportive institution. You just need to make sure that you submit at the right dates when you need to submit.
Yeah.
Even if you're not making a profit, you need to submit something and say, hello, I am still
I'm
here.
still
I
here.
still
Yeah.
didn't make money this year, you know.
True.
And you know, you know, the banks, they want the signed annual financial statements and stuff. SARS doesn't even need like a proper annual financial statements for you to submit your return. You
Sure.
can do like a one page, say, this was my income, these were expenses, and boom, you are compliant, you submitted your things, right? Okay, so I just want to take that because I know people they just don't like SARS.
Yeah. They're very
They're
allergic. Entrepreneurs are allergic to
very
SARS.
allergic. And yet the SARS, oh, is a
It's
big
it's the
parent
lack
that
of
loves us.
understanding, Lindela. It's the lack of understanding, because I think, you know, USARS has been presented as this monster. And I think the more, you know, we speak to people like you who are going to be able to say, they're not taking the whole money. They're not taking your it's a certain portion of your profit. And even then, it depends at which bracket it is. And the percentages differ, you know. So
Yes.
please go back to the records. I'm so interested to hear that
Okay.
answer.
So the best way of keeping the records, like you were saying, that the slips they do fade away, is always advise entrepreneurs every time you're gonna use every time you incur expenses, you're gonna use your business bank card, right? So some transaction are going to record in your bank statements. Then
Statements.
you're gonna get your receipts and invoices. Immediately when you get that, or even if it's once a week, scan or take a photo of your invoices and have a folder in your phone or in your laptop and say, this is January. Everything that you have a receipt of, you have scanned and you took photo and you put it in your January folder. So at the end of your January, you take the full folder and you give it to your accountant so that they can match those slips with the transaction in your bank statement so that you can process I think that's the best and the easiest way of not forgetting. Yes. Yeah,
Quite
yeah.
true. You know what? We are definitely going to be having more of this conversation. It's just that we are almost out of time. I think I'll give you an opportunity just to tell us more on looking at Kumani Nande, the business. What's your future take on the business? Where would you like to see it in the next 5 years? And also give us your contact details in case there's an entrepreneur that's listening in today that says, you know what, I'd like to procure services Galindelwa to assist me in my business.
Okay. My business plan or where I would want to see Xhumani Nande is Xhumani Nande growing more into the SMMEs space. I want to grow more in the SMME space. In the SMMEs, throughout all the industries, your construction, your NGOs, all the small businesses that are there. I would like to see Xhumani Nande having part of each industry. Because when you have a portion in an industry and you serve your customers and your client well, then it will expand within those industries. And I would like to see Xhumani Nande, doing more conversation like this, taking more platforms where it's only SMMEs. We're informing them. We give them more information about understanding their finances and understanding the compliance for their businesses. And lastly, I would like to see Xhumani Nande contributing into the low job or low employment that we have within the country, having more staff, having more interns coming to do interns within the Xhumani Nande in helping our SMMEs growing their businesses. Yes. And when you find us in Facebook, we are Xhumani Nande. In fact, on all the social medias, in TikTok, just recently started joining TikTok for the business, still trying to get the hang of it. And Instagram, we are Xhumani Nande as well. The email address for myself in Xhumani Nande is lindelua@xhumani-nande.co.za. Yes, and Instagram as well is Xhumani Nande. The telephone number is 071-871-2255.
Right. My dear, thank you so much for coming through and having this wonderful, insightful conversation. I truly, truly enjoyed it. Siyabulela ngexesha lakho.
Inkosi kakhulu, ndiyabulela kuwe ne-listeners zase-Vukani Community Radio, and all the best to all the entrepreneurs and SMMEs out there. This was a nice conversation for us as well.
Thank you, Sissy. Thank you.
Bye.
Right, Employer of Vukani Community Radio, such a powerful and interesting conversation there that we have just had. When you are an entrepreneur and you are thinking, should you adhere to the requirements of SARS or not? This is a call to say, please adhere to them. Right now, let's take a song before we get into our news at 1 o'clock. We're going to take Ozama Khumalo, a city when I don't go anywhere.